Indeed, our guest today is a most esteemed gentleman, a legendary actor of film, television, the stage, video games, narration, and pretty much anything an actor can do. This man has done it all with skill and aplomb that has earned him a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, among many, many awards and accolades. He's the only guy I know that's on a first name basis with Beethoven. So please give a warm, virtual KatchU welcome to the great Malcolm McDowell.
Cheers, cheers, claps, no booze. Thank you very much.
So I guess on the opposite side of that early career was working with Kubrick. Part of the big training for the media genome that we do here at Catch, we study deeply his The Shining.
Yeah.
9 years later, but a lot of this really the same Kubrick trademarks of the the framing of the shots, the vibrant colors, the odd angles. But we've also are aware of some of the, really kind of disturbing stories of how he'd torment his actors like Shelley Duvall in The Shining. And he had these long shoots, a year, 18 months, where he'd kind of hold you captive. So what was your experience like working with Kubrick, and what did he teach you that you ended up sort of taking forward as a clue for how to survive in this industry?
Well, he was also, of course, Stanley was, in his own way, of course, he was a genius, as we know. What he could do with cameras and the technical side of filmmaking, Stanley was light years ahead of anyone else, and still is probably. In fact, there'd be no Star Wars without 2001. And if you look at 2001 today, it's still better in terms of the special effects than all these computer-generated things that I think look so fakey. But of course, I'm old school, so what do I know? But for instance, and Christiana told me this, that the end of 2001 is the explosion and the black hole and the whole, and that was shot over her kitchen sink. They had a pan of boiling water about an inch deep that was smoking, and they had the flame on, so that was always steaming, and they put these little droppers of colored food extract and glycerines and all these colors and swirling mass, and that, when on a 70-foot screen, looked absolutely amazing and otherworldly. And it was done on her kitchen stove. But Stanley knew, who would have thought of that? I think it's just extraordinary. But the thing was, why I think I worked so well with him, that he sort of left me alone to do the sort of acting side of it. And so, I remember saying to him, Stanley, we've talked a lot about, extraneous stuff about the film, but what about the character of Alex? And he goes, well, that's why I hired you. And he just turned off and walked away. Huh. And I went, well, that's funny, because I thought you were the director. How about some direction? And, I used to tease him a lot, but the truth is that really it was a collaboration, because, for instance, I was leaving one night after dinner, and he walked me to my car. And he said, and I said to him, well, what do you think we should wear? I've been thinking. And he goes, I don't know. He goes, what have you got? And I went, what have I got? I'm not costume. I don't know. It's a futuristic thing. The only thing I've got are my cricket whites in the car. He goes, show me. So I put them on for him. He goes, what's this? I said, well, that's the protector, And he goes, wear it on the outside. And that became the iconic look, with the whites, with the boots, and then the bowler and the eyelash. And the eyelash, I found that in this boutique called Bieber. And at the cash register, it had a yard of eyelash. And I went, good Lord, this is so wild. So this was in the 60s, the dolly rockers, girls with their mini skirts and the whole swinging London thing. And I took this yard of eyelash to Stanley as a kind of fun present thing. And he looked at it and he goes, put it on. So I went, I don't know how to put this on with this glue and everything. So I got one eventually on. He took a photograph of it. Then I got both on. And he called me the next day and he goes, "You're just going to wear one eyelash because of it." He goes, "I see in your face there's something wrong and I'm not quite sure what it is." So that's how that came about.
It is such a distinctive look. It really does define that. What an interesting,
Amazing.
It is collaboration.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's really wonderful. So it definitely seems like it was a positive, healthy relationship for you.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, if you see the film, I had my arguments with him later. But
well, that's to be expected.
Of course, I totally love the man. I just adored him, and he was so different from sort of people that I knew, Lindsay, people of the theater. He could care less about. And, and I'd call him and say, "Look, cast Philip Stone as my father. He's so good." And, take a month. And then he goes, "Yeah, well, I got him on tape." And
how great.
I cast him. And then he casts him in The Shining. He's in everything.
Yeah.
He's in Barry Lyndon as well.
Right, yeah.
And Warren Clark, I begged him to use Warren, and he wouldn't go see him in this play. And I went, "Go see him in this play, Home, David's story, directed, incidentally, by Lindsay." And he wouldn't go. He hated the theater, which is so weird to me. But anyway, he wouldn't go. 5 months, we couldn't cast this part. And then I was over at his house and the intercom went and his secretary said, "Warren Clark's here, Stanley." And I thought, "You fucker." And I'm thinking, so Warren Clark finally is here. And Stan looked at me and he goes, "Do you want to say hi?" I went, "Yeah, why not?" And of course, we read the scene and he goes, "This guy's great. What shall I do?" And I went, "How about telling him he's got the part?" So he went back in the room and he said, "I'd like to offer you the part." No, he hated doing that. He hated any kind of, he's always wanted to be withdrawn from that kind of thing.